Damn, I could spend hours and hours on that game. I just got done playing the Brighter Shores closed beta, and I'm able to reveal some information to you in this video. Now, I'm going to be fully transparent on what I can and can't reveal, so let's get right to the information. Now, on the community tab, what I did put out is this important notice, and it reads the following. Important update, I now have access to the closed beta for Brighter Shores MMORPG. Unfortunately, I'm under strict embargo to not reveal any information or gameplay that isn't already public until the release on November 6th. I will ask them if it's okay for me to make a video talking in generality about the feel of the game, but I'm not allowed to reveal any gameplay footage or information that isn't already available. Watch this space and make sure you've subscribed with notifications turned on. That's exactly what I did. I got in contact with the liaison, the sort of PR liaison, and essentially it is now been revealed that Andrew has told them that I am allowed to reveal some information about the game. What I'm allowed to talk about is essentially the feel of the game going into it, how I felt playing the game, and the general feel of the game, and that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. I've got a variety of points to make about this, and hopefully it kind of enthuses you when the release of the game comes and you will be very interested in playing. So let's go into the video. So first point to mention is that it does seem to be like a very limited closed beta. I only saw a number of people walking around. It wasn't like that the beta was just absolutely packed with loads of people. It was a very limited closed beta. I think the reason for this is because, of course, they don't want footage getting out there that's leaked until the release. So they've only invited select few people into the closed beta. Now, what I would say is it felt like a new adventure. It felt like something special. When you first kind of log into the game, you felt like a sense of adventure in the game. You could see that this is where it's going to head. It was also very relaxing and cozy, so it's got that type of vibe to the game where if you was to say finish like 7 or 8 hours working or studying, and then you wanted to go and play this game for a few hours, but you want a game where you can just relax and chill out to, rather than a type of game which, you know, you're shouting at your screen about, you know, maybe it's Call of Duty or whatever, and you're shouting at the screen because of that sort of game. If you want a more of a relaxing, chilled out, laid back game, this is one of those games because there is a variety of professions that you can train. I can't mention all about this elements because I don't want to I'm not allowed to, but there is a lot of different elements about the game, and what I would say is that there's basically a relaxing vibe to it. When you're doing all different types of professions, there is relaxation inbuilt in those professions as you're training them. And that's the sort of feeling that I got. No matter what I was training, I felt an element of relaxation. The other point is that I felt a sense of enjoyment over long periods of time. This is one of those games where you check the time, let's say it says 12 p.m, okay? And then suddenly you look again and it's 6 p.m. Okay, it's one of these games where time moves incredibly fast as you play it. So in other words, I could see this game becoming quite addicted to those that like grinding skills. There is a lot of skills, and I don't like to make the comparison to RuneScape, of course, because it's its own game. However, of course, in RuneScape, there's loads of different skills that you can level up. In this, there is loads of different professions you can level up. And as you level those up, you can sink so many hours into just training these professions. And time moves so fast, and it's incredibly addictive. There's also a sense of immersion in the game when you combine all the factors, the quest lines, the sound, the music of the game, the skills, the objectives that you can set for yourself in the game. And all of this combined, it immerses you in the game world. Also, the game world itself is very vibrant as well, I find. And so you will feel immersed in the game. And that adds to the previous point about time moving fast in the game, because when you are more immersed in a video game, particularly a MMORPG, you'll notice that time runs even faster. And that is how I felt in the game. I felt like I was immersed in the game world. I felt like I was making an impact on the game world as I was doing my training. And it felt like I was a part of that area. Another point is I just felt happiness playing it. It felt like something that was familiar, but it's not familiar. It's hard to explain. I just kind of felt like a sense of happiness when I kind of got that feeling of like, this is something special. This is something that is going to hopefully be something that people are interested in. And by the way, I'm going to talk about a couple of the negative feelings at the end of this video as well, but we'll get to that later. Another point is I found myself laughing and chuckling at the quest line. So the quests, I believe, are produced by Paul Gower. Now, that's related to Andrew Gower. The guy is obviously got a very good sense of humour, because there is all sorts of funny jokes in the quest line. I cannot mention exactly. I can only speak in generalities because, like I say, I'm under an embargo. But what you can expect yourself to be doing in terms of how you feel about the game, you can expect yourself probably to be laughing or finding yourself chuckling at some of the dialogue. So my idea would be is do what I did, which is essentially try to take the game at your own pace, read all the dialogue, go through all of the information, and just take in all of these little jokes, hidden jokes that are in the dialogue. In terms of you being familiar with the game world, those jokes then become more prominent in the dialogue as well. So just take your time with it. It is going to be a long-term game. You are not going to be able to max everything within the space of a week. It's not this type of game. It's going to take a long time to actually level everything up, a long time. So take the dialogue and enjoy it, and take your time with the game. But what I would say is it's incredibly funny. Found myself chuckling. At one point I almost spit a cup of tea out my mouth. There is a sense of exploration in the game. It's like, which area do I go into next? Do I do this profession? Do I go into this new area? Do I unlock these different areas? Do I unlock the objects in all these different areas? And there is a sense of exploration in the game. That's the feel that I get from the game. And by the way, all what I've said there is nothing new. Those are all informations that's available. You can unlock different objects in set areas, and that gives it a sense of exploration. And I think from watching it, but actually playing it, it's different as well, because you really want to go to every single area of the map tile that you end up in, and basically explore every bit of it to make sure that you have discovered all the items there, because then it puts it up on the map for you to see. So when you go into the game, you're going to get this sense of exploration, because you'll get areas you can go this way and go that way. And so there is that sense of exploration there, but I would say that also maybe a bit of overwhelming nature too. Now also on the game, there is like some unique systems which give you big dopamine hits. So I will say that you can essentially see that your XP going up and up. And yes, there is some very interesting systems which are going to make you feel a sense of joy and happiness and progression in the game. You can also get attached to the ambience and the feeling of the world. So one area I spent a while in, I spent a long time in one area of the game, and I could have progressed to the other area of the game, but I was just so attached to the area that I was already exploring that I didn't want to venture out too much just yet. And so I spent a lot of time, many hours, just in this one area, leveling up some professions before I actually progressed into the other areas of the game. So you can see this, there's like a sense of attachment in the game as well, which I think is a good thing. And there is a sense of achievement. When I was playing the game, I felt like it was meaningful. I didn't feel like I was wasting my time. And there is a sense of achievement in the game when you level the skills up. And everything has meaning, no matter what you do within the Brighter Shores world, you feel like everything has meaning, and therefore it respects your time in the way that it has meaning, but it also is, got some grindy elements. I felt like didn't even scratch the surface, put it that way. Now, there was a lot of variety in the game in terms of what you could do or not do. It's also a very long-term game. I feel like it's one of those where you could plan ahead and decide, okay, this is the path that I want to take, and then plan ahead. So I got the feeling of, sense of organization and thinking about, if I do this, I'll do that, I'll do this, I'll do this, and kind of organization and planning ahead. And that felt to me, in terms of the feel of the game, like I've always got objectives and what I want to work towards personally, and you can cater towards yourself in terms of doing that. Now, a couple of the bad points about the game. Now, I wouldn't say that these are kind of bad feelings about the game, but I could see how these could be considered them. Now, first of all, it's very addictive, so you have to be very careful with this game, I think. It can hook you in. At least that's how I felt. It might not be for everybody. Of course, every game has its unique fan base, and there's certain people that like certain games, there's certain people that like other games, and that's just subjective, depends on the individual. For me, I felt like I was getting hooked on the game, and therefore I was getting addicted to it. The other bad point is sometimes I felt a little bit overwhelmed, like there were so many things I could choose to do, like so much stuff, that I just didn't know what I wanted to do. So at times I was a bit indecisive. Should I go do this? Should I go do that? What I would say is don't worry about that too much. Just try a bit of everything and then see what you like and then stick with that. And I think that's how you got to kind of play the game, and also go through the quest line, of course, and enjoy that. But just, you will maybe feel a bit overwhelmed in terms of what do you want to do first. But that's how I felt. And so that is maybe a little bit of a bad point, but I'd say it's a good thing because that plays to the point about variety. So there's lots of different things to do. Potential time sink. You can you can spend hundreds and hundreds of hours in this game if you wanted to. Now, just some other information. I did speak briefly with the audio engineer of the game. Now, I can't reveal the gameplay or the chat footage of that, right, because it's under embargo. But what I can say in generality, in terms of the feel, they are incredibly passionate about this game. They've worked incredibly hard on it, and it's only a small team of devs, audio engineers, and quest designers, etc. And they've all worked incredibly hard on the game. And coming from the audio engineer, he says that he's incredibly passionate about the music in the game, and is also passionate about music in general and producing music. So that's interesting to know that we've got somebody there that really enjoys what he's doing. But I can't reveal any more information other than that because I am under embargo, so I cannot talk about specific elements in the game. I cannot talk about specific professions, specific ways to train a skill, specific this or that. I don't want to. I cannot. I would love to do that, but I just can't yet. But what I will be doing, I will be putting out a video that talks about the basic beginner tips on the game. It's nothing like meta breaking or anything like that. It's just some beginner tips on what you can do to make your gameplay experience as smooth as possible. So if you are interested in that video, then do subscribe to the channel. I've also got another video lined up before the release of the game that I think that I'm going to be able to put out as well. So look forward to that. And I will see everybody in the next one. If you could smash the like button to get this into the YouTube algorithm, I'd also appreciate it. And I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks.